Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is episode 4 and today we are having quite a small episode, which I'm sure you can tell from the time of this screening. The reason behind that is because in the last episode we built a habitat for the red foxes, and basically what this habitat is the European badger. The badger was chosen due to the King's Coronation yesterday, and I wanted to do something very European, very British for the occasion, and so the European badger was chosen, and the habitats are going to be extremely similar. Obviously I've done the fence and decorated the outside of this habitat off camera to make it look a bit nicer, spent a bit of time doing that while I also decorate around the zoo, which doesn't need to be on video. And yeah, I didn't want you to miss the building of the habitat that we have for the European badger here, so I whipped together a small video that just does and focuses on the habitat itself. So that is what we're doing in today's episode. The little pond that I have created here was originally not going to be there, but I quite like it there. I feel like it works for when you actually watch it. So if you are a person walking through the zoo, and you're looking into the badger exhibit, it is quite nice to view through. So you'll see the pond, and then eventually the badgers behind the pond, and it all looks very nice. And obviously the aim of this zoo is to make it look very natural, very almost left to its own devices, but at the same time has got people working on the zoo, has got staff, and it's been there for a while, is what I'm trying to get at. So that is why I'm using the ivy from the Twilight Pack to fill out some of the areas of the one-way glass, for example, to give it that little bit of taste of naturality, to make it look more as a natural and left to its own devices habitat. So we're coming up to finishing the pond now. It was quite quick to do the pond. I didn't want to add anything underneath the water, for the simple reason being it's a badger exhibit. You're not really going to be focusing on the pond too much, and the rest of the foliage around the pond will fix in anyway. You can see me there using I believe they're tomato plants from the conservation pack. They are absolutely adorable. I love them to pieces. I wish I could use them more in my habitats when I build habitats, just because of how good they actually look. Apologies for the clicking there. I really like the look of them, and yeah, I'm probably going to use them more. Again, as for what I was saying, as most of this habitat is just a copy and paste of the last habitat, so you can see me just reworking the front door to the other side near the staff area, which is now complete. I went off camera and completed the staff area to make it look a bit nicer for anybody looking over the top or any other staff looking in, and yeah, that looks extremely nice in there, and it certainly looks like an area that the staff would use to look after the animals. Something I quickly realised while building this habitat is that I didn't actually leave room for a gate. I had to quickly improvise where that gate was going to go by stealing the other gate that I had built for the other side, and just whipping it over to this side and fitting it all in together. One thing I don't like about this habitat, however, is that door placement. I'm sure you can understand why. It just doesn't fit in that small gap, and I might actually change it at some point. Obviously we're trying to remove the red fox in Welsh there, as it certainly is not a red fox exhibit, and yeah, it needs to have its own identity, and that's why it's just a little bit smaller, as the badgers are a bit smaller than the red foxes, and the area itself is just quite small. The little house there that was built in the last episode, so if you want to see that, go and check out the last episode, isn't actually usable by the badgers. I've tried to move things around to allow them access to it, but no matter what I do to that building, they just can't walk into it, and I'm not entirely sure why. So for now, it's just going to stay as really a decorational piece. Obviously, in real life, they would definitely be able to use that habitat, but unfortunately, Planet Zoo has its own ideas as to what it wants to do. I was really hoping that this gate would actually fit into there nicely, and it did. So luckily, that was that was a bit of luck there, shall I say. Pathing again, not the best, not the easiest thing to do, but does work out in the end. This big gap in the fence here, I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do. I know I've used rocks in the fox habitat, but I didn't want to use rocks again because I wanted this habitat to have its own identity, and with its own identity, obviously I went for the theme that we're going for in this habitat, which is the wood, the logs, which I believe are Planet Zoo logs. They come in base game, and I feel like they do fit together quite nicely. I might go ahead and add maybe a plank or two onto the top of those wooden beams to make it look a bit more secure. Obviously, to keep the build count down, I removed all the double ups and just added a singular plank there, which you can see me doing, which just reduces the count. Obviously, you can see me struggling with a bit of lag in the video at some places. And it's only really if I looked in the direction of the bats. I know that's because there's a lot of groups there and it's quite difficult otherwise. I'm really thankful for the Planet Zoo sandbox settings, which allows me to put the borders over the paths. It is something that otherwise would make this habitat quite small, and just disabling that setting in the settings is very, very helpful. And you can see me here using some of the badger needs, so some of the enrichment items that the badger uses, and just placing those around the habitat where some of them aren't accessible, some of them are, but it's not really going to take you notice. You're going to see that they're there, but you would just, you wouldn't focus on it too much to see that they can't actually access it. And I know that's probably to do with my planting, but at the end of the day, the planting is what makes a habitat, and so we can afford to lose a bit of realism, a bit of breakage in the Planet Zoo scripting for the scenery. I'm always one for scenery, and yeah, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes left in this video. I know it's gone very, very quickly. It was a very, very short video that I just created as a celebrational moment for the coronation of the king yesterday. Obviously the badgers were used for that specific celebrational moment, and so this is quite a small video, just as a video to get out there to give you some inspiration as to how I built my badger exhibit. Maybe later on in a few years' time, or when I change zoos, if my computer breaks on this zoo, I might do a badger again in a different style. But this is the European style, the Welsh style that I wanted to go for in this habitat, and obviously it does. It fits into that very natural, that very valleys style looking habitat. One of my favourite pieces of scenery being used here is the Yorkshire foggrass, and I absolutely adore it. is one of my favourite pieces of scenery to work with, and I will use it wherever I can. I know it interrupts the traversable area of the badgers, which is very annoying, but I guess it's just one of those things. We're rapidly coming up towards the end of this video, so I really hope you've enjoyed. I know it's been a very quick video today. I still hope you've managed to learn something, managed to find something interesting, I hope. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. So thank you very much. Enjoy the last few seconds of this video, and I will see you in the next one, which will hopefully be a bit longer. So thank you and goodbye.
Woohoo!